AskReddit by released lobster. What secret is okay acceptable to keep from a partner in a marriage? I let my wife experience all the big things with the kids first. She's a shift worker covering both day and night 12-hour shifts, and no 2 weeks of roster are ever the same. So we have a rather sporadic home life where we are all home at the same time. If the kids have happened to have done any of the milestone events when it's just been me at home, I've kept quiet about it and been excited, genuinely, when she's witnessed them first and calls me in the room or tells me about it. I figure it helps her not feel like she's missing out on the family. This is the sweetest thing I've ever read. I aspire to be a man like this. I worked very hard with my kids to ensure their first word was mama. When she wasn't around, I was going mama mama to the kids. Being a mom is everything to her, and I wanted her to have that cherished moment of being the first word they said. I will never tell her that. That's so sweet. You're a good husband. An emergency gift stash for when the partner has a bad day. My emergency stash for my wife is mostly chocolate. As soon as my wife figured out I had a secret chocolate stash for her bad days, she started having bad days more often just to get all the chocolate. Then she got upset when it was all gone. Where you keep the emergency candy. I hide my chocolate in an empty box of Raisin Bran. I'm sure I'm too late for this to be seen. One day I woke up with a blocked ear, had a shower and let the warm water run into my ear. Small spider came out and ear instantly unblocked. If I told my partner this, she'd literally never sleep again. You told me and now I'm never sleeping again. On the day I got married, my dad pulled me aside and gave me this one piece of advice: you don't have to tell her everything. I was flummoxed. Did my dad have a secret family in Florida that he was visiting on those long business trips? No. 30 years later I realized he didn't mean keep secrets, he meant don't always tell her dinner tastes burned. Don't always tell her when someone says something mean about her. Don't always tell her that the children's clothes look dumb. Of course it would have helped a lot if he had actually said that, but perhaps he wanted me to learn the hard way. This morning my wife asked me, now, be serious, does this dress look nice or does it look like I'm trying too hard to look like a teenager? I honestly thought she looked great, and I told her. The secret to a happy marriage is the 5 things you don't say every day. I witnessed my son walking for the first time about a month before she saw him walk. She was struggling with postpartum depression and upset she wasn't the mom she wanted to be. I'm taking that one to the grave. My son owns a daycare and hides that from parents too. She tells them I think baby might start walking soon if she saw them take their first steps, because she doesn't want to take that from the parents but wants them to be on the lookout so they can have their moment. What you're getting them as a gift. I get crafty every Christmas trying to keep gifts secret, and every time I realize how hard it is to maintain lies and secrets. Totally worth it to gift someone a beautiful handmade quilt, but I can't even imagine how stressful it is to hide credit card debt or an affair. I'll stick to honesty. Spoilers for a show you have watched before, but are watching with them. My wife and I are watching Game of Thrones at the moment, which is the first time for me. She'll say things like, if you don't do this chore, I'll tell you what happens to Joffrey Johnson or etc. This is all good natured and fun, BTW. That you would, in fact, not love them if they were a worm. My partner said he would build me a worm sanctuary and allow me to live in a tank at his home so I won't die on the streets. What partner was best in bed, had the best dictates, anything they can't realistically change or control? Reminds me of a conversation I had with an ex. Him, out of nowhere, extremely defensively, I have a really big dick. Me, you do? Him, other women I've dated have told me it's the biggest they've ever seen. Me, I bet. Him, you've never said that to me. Me, I think you should quit while you're ahead. Him, your ex had a big dick, didn't he? Me, you should have thought this through before you asked. The kind of sex you had with former partners. EWW. Yes, my ex gave me shit because it was difficult for me to have an orgasm, and he talked about how easily some of his exes got off. It made my blood boil. Never compare your partner to your previous partners. Made me so insecure. If someone talks shit about them, your family, friends, you don't need to tell them. You can stand up for them and leave it at that. I don't need to hear every thought my mill has about our wedding. I'm the opposite. I give my wife full debts so we can shark attack their punk asses together. The size and nature of your bowel movements. Please, if you are my husband reading this, honey, please no. Edit. Turning off reply notifications for this. Also, some of you need to call your proctologist. My wife frequently tells me this info. Maybe they should exchange numbers and shit talk with each other. Your other friend's secrets. When a buddy of mine's partner started talking about something I explicitly said not to share with anyone, I had to reevaluate what I would share with him in the future. Part of me kinda expects their spouse to know what I've told them, but when you know your spouse is a gossip, don't expect me to ever open up to you again, especially if I've already told you to keep it a secret. I'm not a gossip, but my friends can also trust me because I forget every fucking thing like I've been neuralized by MIB. Classified information. My wife used to have a job that required a top secret clearance and she couldn't tell me anything about her work. Now she works in the private sector and can tell me all about her work with data and analytics. I miss the old job. According to Leo Tolstoy's wife, detailed accounts of the many times you cheated on her with one of your serfs and knowingly gave her an STD. My friend's granddad brought home HPV and buried 2 wives from cervical cancer. I've been playing Mario Kart 200cc by myself for a few years now. I'm really good. My husband beats me all the time, but it's usually because I let him. It's my deathbed secret. That's cute, but fuck that. When I game with my man, I'm out for blood. Same with the kids. That you prematurely threw out leftovers, and if my husband is reading this. No, you didn't. Of course he did. They just did a quick trip through his stomach before heading out permanently. Things that were told to you in strict confidence that don't relate to your partner. And, in turn, a partner shouldn't expect to hear about things like that either. I have a good friend who, if I say, please keep this between us, she will. She may say to her husband, my friend is going through something right now, so we're getting dinner tonight last minute so I won't be home, and that's enough for him. He knows it's not his business. Deployment zones in the military. Also related, when you are coming home, don't delay everyone's homecoming because you know your wife can't keep a secret to save her life. Other people's secrets, ones that aren't yours to tell and don't impact you or your partner. My husband has no idea how many times I eat a cheeseburger on the way home from work. That's the only acceptable secret to keep. My mill was an appallingly awful cook who grew up in the Depression and refused to throw away food, no matter how bad it was. After they died, I was going through decades worth of old paperwork. I discovered that my Phil, while taking his daily walk, stopped at Burger King every single day for a survival meal. Smelled something gamey behind the kitchen stove in a place we were renting. Pulled the back off it, found a fried mouse-shaped object frozen in a rock limbing move across the live terminals. Find anything, honey, from the lunch room? Nah, nothing, dull, as I discreetly yeeted it into the outside bin. Gifts you have gotten, the more are going to get them. Something that will ruin a lovely surprise. If they hate surprises, then spoil it and let them know they need to be surprised. The secrets of friends or family, unless they will impact your relationship negatively. Details about previous partners, like secrets, insecurities, and stuff like that. And I'm sure there are other things too. But I don't think there should be a lot of secrets in a relationship, but some are okay, and other things don't need to be mentioned even though they aren't really secrets.